a very good evening to everyone watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Evening Review. My name is Steven Jabela, your host. Tonight on the show, we are joined by Renier Bougard. He's chairperson of the committee representing ex-workers of Air Namibia. They held a demonstration last week, and Renier is here to help us unpack the issues that they had at the demonstration. Thank you, sir, for making time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so a lot of issues were raised at your demonstration last week. What are some of the key issues that you can share with us, and what is it that you want the stakeholders to do?
Let me start off by saying justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
And that's why we chose to go to the Ministry of Justice, also because the master of the High Court falls under them. Because the processes, systems, and institutions are the ones that we are following to air or ventilate what is happening to the former workers of Air Namibia and the way that we are being treated. So these institutions are supposed to safeguard us as people of Namibia, or as former workers of Air Namibia as well. So yeah, basically, Air Namibia, or we are in two liquidations. There's Air Namibia, the company, that's in liquidation, and there's the Air Namibia Retirement Fund that's also in liquidation. And both these entities are owing us money. And the one is the severance packages. We did receive part of our severance packages in December, but not the full amount as per the claim in our possession that we signed off under oath. So there's monies owed to us on that one. So we got a reduced amount. The other one is the Air Namibia Retirement Fund. Interest money is on your pension that needs to be paid out. However, this has been an ongoing process for 24 months that is not coming to an end. And people are always telling us, but we understand your situation. But unfortunately, as I told them, we do not eat understanding. We need money to procure food for our children. So they need to just do their work as soon as possible, and then so that we can get our monies that is owed to us. That's basically what we are there for.
Yeah, wonderful. Who is delaying this process? Is it the liquidators, Bruni and McLaren, or is it another institution that is involved there?
Well, I really don't know, because nobody is talking to us. And we are trying to get meetings. We are trying to get a sit down. We have tried emails. That is why we also had that labor case. I have to also inform you, the processes, systems, and institutions are basically failing us because they have to safeguard our rights. Now, our labor case has been ongoing for 20 months. We're only in arbitration now, but we haven't even got a set-down date for the arbitration. So that's the labor case. Then there's, in December, when we got the payment, you've got the right then to object. Actually, the process is skewed. First, the account was supposed to be handed out. You have to inspect the account. Once you agree on the account, it gets adopted, it gets approved, then only payments are done. Now, payments were done before the accounts were approved. So there's a first draft, it's not the final draft. So things are just not being done the correct way. Like I said, we're in two different liquidations, so you would think that the processes are similar. But the one is doing it according to the book, the other one is not, and all of that. That is quite confusing. And at the end of the day, we are the victims. It's tough out there being unemployed. It's tough in the fact that, yes, when you are youth, I can understand you also need to eat and stuff like that. But for us that have families that we have to take care of, you're the head of the household of 3 to 4 people and stuff like that. You've got farm workers that you need to pay, all of those type of things, cars and things that you have to maintain. So it puts a lot of pressure on you. People have lost houses. People were forced to sell a house. Like I'm sitting here, I'm also thinking of selling my house. That I used my pension fund with to pay off my house so that I don't have that extra debt. But now I'm being forced into a situation because I have to wait for money that is owed to me. And a lot of people lost jobs during COVID. We understand that. Even the aviation industry that we worked in, mass terminations, including us, the 638 people or families. But the difference is that those other guys got their severance packages at the end of their termination. We had to wait 22 months. And as you know, in the economy that we are currently in, how many interest rates went up? And so the $100 that I was supposed to get 2 years back, it's not the same $100.
Absolutely, the value
2 years down the line.
And I would want later for us to go into the graphic details of what the ex-workers are going through or what they have gone through. But for now, to tell me the labor matter, what is it about?
Well, firstly, when we did the case at the Labour Commissioner's office was to have immediate payment of the severance packages, because that was in September of, remember the last working day was March. So we made we gave them some time because we thought we will get it by April according to the Labour Act. So we gave them some time. But then by September there was nothing, no communication, nothing. Just saying that we are still trying to sell the assets, so you have to be patient. Now, we would have thought that these things would have been laid out. There should have been a plan to say, okay, this is what we will do because we're going into liquidation. And the preferred creditors, the workers of Air Namibia, the Namibians, this is how we will deal with them. We will give them their money. The ex gratia, I think, which is the one, the 12 equivalent to 12-month salaries that were paid, I think that was only paid because they knew how long the liquidation process will take. Not this thing about we are carrying government and now we are looking after these guys. No, they fully knew that it will take a long time. It's currently been almost 3 years, 2.5 years. Liquidation process is still not finalized. So what some of the workers are saying then, the ex gratia payment should continue until the liquidation process is finalized. We don't even want a lot of money. If we can just get a stipend of maybe like the fishermen, $5,000 every month, just to get you over the line for a period of time until this liquidation process is finalized. It brings me up with another point. Why were we not taken up in any of the government institutions at that time? They could have put that on as on the table as well to say, you can either take the package or we can give you another job in some other parastatal where there's a skills match. You understand? Because, I mean, we are highly trained. I myself am a safety management systems instructor. Besides being a firefighter, besides being we are trained 23 years of training in aviation medicine. You know how to deliver a baby. We are trained in hijackings. We are trained in bomb disposals, all of those type of things. But now all that skills are on the street because aviation is so specialized. You cannot just go into something else now. I mean, 23 years down the line. For me, it feels like I wasted 23 years of my life because now Air Namibia doesn't exist. There's no record of me ever working at Air Namibia because they destroyed the files, I understand. I have to put on my CV, who can they call as a recommendation or something? Who do they call? Air Namibia is no longer there. And this is what we are dealing with on a daily basis. It's not without trying your life. Not just myself, people have been throwing in applications everywhere, but there's just no answer. So what do you expect of us? The only thing that we can do is go after the money that's owed to us. Absolutely.
What do you remember of this process? How did you get the news that the company was going to be liquidated? And you know, if you can paint us some sort of picture, and also knowing somehow that you'll be without a job, that must have been very difficult.
I'm glad you asked that question because nobody takes time to understand what we went through. you see, firstly, the unions was engaged. At that point in time, I wasn't part of the union, but I was one of the guys that started the union for cabin crew at Air Namibia. And what they told us was that at no time, because there were some briefings to inform us, keep us informed, to say, no, this committee that was, I think it's the Parliament Treasury Committee or whatever, on Treasury.
Cabinet,
And they were constantly being told, no, don't worry, liquidation is not on the table. We are just trying to restructure. And then suddenly in January of that year, apparently when guys, they went to, because they were in talks to say, how can we restructure, overlapping duties, maybe there should be some retrenchments and stuff like that. And the unions going into the meetings, going up with this plan of action, they were just told, as of tomorrow, you won't have a job. I mean, to break news like that, to say, as of tomorrow, you won't have a job. Just like that.
It's crazy, because I remember even us in the media, I remember breaking that news on our platforms. And I was shaking as I typed that, because it was like, what? How did this happen? We didn't see some sort of movement towards that. It just struck like this.
Just like that.
Yeah, because we saw the president was making some comments in Parliament about whether Air Namibia is still a viable vehicle. But the president says a lot of things off the cuff, and it doesn't sound like official. And only for this thing actually to turn out to be true. And I suspect a lot of people in the political space, in the government offices, in the high offices, knew what was coming, but they kept, some of them kept that information away from you.
I have to tell you, everywhere we go, people will say, we never agreed to Air Namibia to be liquidated. But now who made the decision? Because we're on the street. And now they talk about, no, we have to revive the airline. You cannot revive something that's dead or deregistered. Yes, you can start something anew, afresh, but you cannot revive. But let's hope there's some truth into that, because part of the letters that we got was that we will first call back, basically, to say that we will be called back first. But as things are, you never know, you're not sure. And while you wait, what's going to happen?
In the meantime,
life still continues. You still need to breathe.
Absolutely. We go for a quick break, and then we return for the last part of the show.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhh.com.na.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Our conversation on the show continues. Renier, give me now that sense of what are some of the stories that came out of this, personal stories of people who are affected by these things. having to go home and then, not having income and stuff like that. You alluded briefly to people, to you even contemplating selling your house, but I suppose you are in a better position to hold on to it because you were also smart for using your pension money to sort of pay off your house. But I'm sure there are sad stories that you can share.
Of course, we know about a few suicides.
Yeah.
We know about people going into depression. That's why so few people pitch up, because they've lost hope.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. People had to leave Windhoek to go back to their
villages and
to their villages in the north, and to Swakop, Renier, even to the south, because we came from all over.
Of course.
That's why it's so difficult to get them in Windhoek, because you don't have even money to put bread on the table. Why will I pay 400 to come to Windhoek just for a meeting, and then nothing actually happens?
Absolutely.
Because we've had so many meetings and demonstrations and petitions and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And I'm quite disappointed also in Parliament that, because when we forwarded that petition, there was so much hope that at least there will be that understanding, that will assist us. But 7 months down the line, we haven't even been called to come and witness as to what we are going through and stuff like that. So quite disappointing. And that's why I say the institutions, systems and processes are not working for the people, because it needs people to work for them to give assistance to the rest or to the country. But if they are just there to receive a paycheck, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Where do you think, as ex-employees, where do you think the problem started? Because obviously in Namibia, I had a lot of problems, several interventions, restructuring and strategies were made, especially turnaround strategies. None of that really worked. Where do employees think things went wrong?
Route planning, a lot of those things that didn't come from us. And I mean management. Don't know where it came from, but there's some things that this doesn't work. And we will tell them it doesn't work, but it's been forced through, because I think maybe it came from higher up, I don't know from where. But it just never worked in. I was a crew member, senior cabin crew member on the overseas routes. In Namibia, at the end of the day, was not to make profit. It was to sustain the tourism sector in Namibia. So that when we have that vehicle to bring people directly to Namibia, you understand? Because South Africa offers the same things that we do. But if we can bring them directly to us, and because we're from a German colony, some of us speak German, so to have that interaction with the Germans and stuff like that, I don't know why people are surprised of all of these things and that are happening. Because when you were overseas and people walk on board the Air Namibia aircraft, you could see the pride, We are competing in the Champions League of aviation. You will be next to Lufthansa, Emirates, but we could hold our standard. You understand? But unfortunately, you need to break an egg to make an omelette. It is expensive to fly because everything is in US dollars, landing fees, overfly fees, fuel. So all of those things are in US dollars. So unfortunately, the rand and all of that also affects that. But hopefully there are lessons learned if a new airline do start up, and that you've got the correct people in the correct positions. You cannot have teachers as board chairmen or whatever.
Absolutely.
You need aviation expertise, you understand? So hopefully there will be a turnaround in how appointments are done.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I'm asking that is because I know, for example, that the German route was, of course, from the tourism point of view, it was good, but it was hugely loss-making, and I'm informed that management. Yeah, please go ahead.
If I may,
please.
Loss-making in the fact that your lease agreements did not match your income. So who signed the lease agreements? That's what we have to look at, and what went wrong there. And stuff like that. Were there cheaper options? You understand? So those are the things that were supposed to be looked at. And us as cabin crew members or workers on the ground, we didn't make those decisions. We were just told, you've got your roster, this is the time the flight will leave, so be there. You understand? That's why I'm always early. It's a habit already, because no flight must be delayed. But for the rest, I can't speak on it. But
but I understand you, because that is exactly where that feeling of unfairness comes from. To say that the high powers made their decisions, and people are sacrificed in the process, and now that those in powerful positions have realized that their decisions have actually led to this situation, they are still not expediting the process of at least giving you some relief in terms of your payments and stuff.
Exactly, and that's what we expected them to do. If I was in the run of the country or whatever, making decisions, I would have said, listen, take care of these people first. Because nobody must go hungry. You understand? Because it's not their fault. Decisive decision making. You understand? But it's lacking. Everywhere it's lacking. Nobody wants to take responsibility to say, this is what needs to be done. You understand? So, like I say, I'm just hoping we went through this, we are going through this, and actually why we are taking this stance is that we feel an obligation, because we are the first parastatal going to liquidation, but we don't know how many others are going to follow suit. So that parameters can be put in place, that these things do not happen to our colleagues or our countrymen and women going through this and losing their houses as well. There needs to be some sort of security. Imagine there's not even an unemployment grant. And I paid, for 23 years, I actually worked for more than 23 years to Social Security. But there's nothing. So what happened to my contributions over these years?
Absolutely,
it's only, ladies for maternity, but there's not even injury on duty things and stuff like that. Because as I say, I was in the union. We've dealt with these type of issues before. And not even an unemployment grant of maybe just once off a payment that can assist you because of all your contributions. Nothing.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you're raising. And I just had a similar conversation with friends, I think over the weekend, and social security popped up in our conversation, and people were saying, but as a man paying this all my working life, where does that money actually go?
Exactly.
Maybe I don't even have a wife who goes on maternity leave or anything. So where does it go? So it's a very fair question actually, and we in the media must take it up.
And those are the things you need to learn. Everybody makes mistakes, but you need to learn out of your mistakes and be better for the next generation. So you're going to wait until the next generation gets liquidated again to or finally wake up to say, oh, but we should have put this in place. No, it should have been in place already. You have to have foresight. You have to look ahead. I don't know. I really don't understand how some people think or what's going on or what their agenda is. I really don't understand.
Absolutely. In closing, my brother, what is then your message to those watching, especially those empowered to make decisions to impact your lives better?
Yes, for those ones that are in power and that can make decisions, what we want is what is owed to us. Nothing less and nothing more. 23 years of service, I'm just talking about myself, but there's people with 30 years of service. There are single mothers. There are widows. Like I said, people have lost lives already. And these people are unemployed. Now, why, after they lost their livelihood, should they still suffer and come and beg for money that is owed to them? You know that we can't even charge interest on our money. They don't want to give us interest on our money. But the banks will charge you interest for late payments.
Absolutely.
But because you are delaying me, I'm getting in arrears with the bank. So if you pay me now, most of my money goes into the arrears, and then you ask me, but you got money just the other day, why are you going on? But you didn't have that foresight to understand the situation that I find myself in. So what we want is, we want our claim to be honored, the full amount, because this service certificate we also received connects with this one. So if you are saying this one is not valid, then you're also saying my service certificate for my number of years is also not valid, because these two are tied together as from a labor point of view. So we just want the rest of our money, and we want it immediately. And we want the Air Namibia retirement fund to be winded up so that those monies can also be paid out, that is owed to the members of the retirement fund.
Absolutely. Renier, thank you for making time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. That was tonight's show with Renier Bougard, and he is speaking on behalf of the ex-workers of Air Namibia. Thank you for watching.